Okay, so today I will be reviewing Prowler at Worlds of Fun in Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm just going to say it, Prowler is my favorite GCI. I think it's quite underrated. So, what's so good about Prowler? Why do I love it so much, you might ask? For one thing, the fact that it has a combination twister and out and back elements make the ride feel a lot longer than it is because you've got like two different types of typical coasters. So I do like the mix of the twister and the out and back that Prowler offers. Let's also talk about the airtime this ride gives. So coming off the drop, of course, I got airtime, and then there's that twister beneath the drop, and then out of the twister, there's this airtime hill that goes underneath the lift hill, and it gave me sustained out of your seat airtime for at least a good 2 seconds, I counted. I know 2 seconds doesn't sound like a ton, but for a single pop of airtime to last 2 seconds, especially on a GCI, and it is pretty powerful airtime too, so for a pop of airtime on a GCI to last 2 seconds, that's a lot longer than normal. I'd say the longest pop of airtime on Mystic Timbers is probably less than a second to compare it to another Cedar Fair GCI. And then you hit the out and back section, and you go through several airtime hills, and they all give really good airtime. Not as good as that first pop that just seems to last forever, especially if you don't let them staple you, which, if you just simply lean forward, they won't staple you. And then there's the twister section as a turnaround, and the transitions do provide some airtime, and it's a fairly intense turnaround, and then you go back through more airtime hills, which it's just like going out. They all give pretty good airtime, but they aren't as good as the first pop that, like I said, just lasts forever, but they're still all really good, like really good airtime. Once you seemingly get back, you still have a few more twists to do in a final twister section, and then when you hit the brakes, there is a small building that's easy to joke is the shed. And you know my stance on Mystic Timbers shed that I kind of ranted about in my review of Mystic Timbers, but my response to this little building that you could joke is the shed was, see, Worlds of Fun got the memo not to overhype a building that is just there for when you're sitting on the brake run. So, Prowler opened in 2009, and knowing that, I'd say it's aged pretty good. I mean, there are certainly newer wooden roller coasters I've ridden that aren't quite as smooth as Prowler is. I mean, Prowler is almost as smooth as Mystic Timbers, and that's brand new, and Mystic Timbers is perfectly smooth. I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying Prowler has aged really well in terms of its smoothness. And with the Millennium Flyer trains, I personally feel with all the walking around you have to do at Worlds of Fun, it's nice to have trains that are as comfortable as the Millennium Flyer trains that this thing has. Thinking about the whole Mystic Timbers thing, another easy joke to make about Mystic Timbers versus Prowler, you can wait a couple hours for it at Kings Island, or you can just walk right on at Worlds of Fun and marathon the thing. So, if you have not guessed by everything I've said, I'm going to give Prowler an A. Definitely the best coaster at Worlds of Fun, and the best GCI that I have ridden.